There is a lie that sits at the foundation of the modern world, a myth so pervasive that we have built our entire civilization upon it without ever questioning its structural integrity. The lie is that human beings naturally desire freedom. We are taught from the moment we can speak that history is a long, heroic march toward liberty, that we fought kings, toppled tyrants, and broke chains because our deepest biological drive is to be free, independent, and autonomous. But the psychoanalyst Erich Fromm, writing in the shadow of the Second World War, uncovered a darker, more uncomfortable truth. We do not want freedom. In fact, we are terrified of it. When true freedom is actually placed in our hands, it does not feel like liberation. It feels like a burden so heavy that we will do almost anything, submit to a dictator, join a mindless mob, or erase our own personalities, just to get rid of it. We are not running toward freedom. We are engaging in a desperate, frantic escape from it. To understand this terror, we have to look at what freedom actually costs. In the medieval world, or in tribal societies, an individual was not free. You were born a peasant, you lived as a peasant, and you died as a peasant. You were bound to your land, your lord, and your church. But this lack of freedom came with a profound psychological benefit. You knew exactly who you were. You had a place in the universe. You were a thread in a tapestry that existed before you and would exist after you. You were never alone, but as modern history dawned, as we killed the kings and questioned the gods, we severed those ties. We became individuals. For the first time, we were free to choose our own jobs, our own beliefs, and our own destinies. But this freedom from the old chains created a vacuum. Suddenly, the individual stood alone in a universe that was vast, indifferent, and silent. We traded security for anxiety. We realized that if we are free to succeed, we are also free to fail. And if we are free to choose, we are free to be wrong. The modern human is the most anxious being to ever walk the earth because he is the most isolated. When this isolation becomes unbearable, when the silence of the free self becomes too loud, the human mind snaps. We cannot bear the burden of being a separate I, so we look for ways to merge back into a we. Fromm identified the primary mechanism of this escape in the modern world, automaton conformity. This is not the obedience of a slave who fears the whip. It is something far more insidious. It is the voluntary erasure of the self to become exactly like everyone else, so that we no longer have to feel the terror of standing out. We become chameleons. We adopt the opinions of our newsfeed, the fashion of our peer group, and the morals of our culture, not because we have thought them through, but because adopting them makes us feel safe. We convince ourselves that I think this, when in reality we are just repeating a script that was handed to us. We have become automatons, robots who believe they are free because they are running the same software as the millions of other robots around them. This creates a society of pseudo-selves. We smile when we are not happy. We express outrage when we are not angry. We like things we do not actually enjoy. We have hollowed out our inner core and replaced it with a social expectation. And the tragedy of this conformity is that it doesn't actually cure the anxiety, it only numbs it. Deep down, the modern conformist is plagued by a sense of futility, because he knows that he is living a life that is not his own. He is a cog who dreams he is the engine. This is why we see the rise of authoritarianism and extremism in times of uncertainty. When people feel small, isolated, and powerless, they don't want more freedom. They want a magic helper. They want a strong man, a rigid ideology, or a mass movement to come along and say, "Don't worry, you don't have to choose anymore. I will choose for you. I will tell you who your enemies are. I will tell you what is true. Just give me your freedom, and I will give you belonging." We surrender our sovereignty to the mob or the tyrant, because the pain of being a part of a monster is easier to bear than the pain of being a whole individual alone in the dark. The warning of escape from freedom is that this cycle will never end until we understand the difference between freedom from and freedom to. We have achieved freedom from, we have broken the chains of the past, but we have not yet achieved freedom to, the ability to use that freedom to create, to love, and to be spontaneous. True freedom is the ability to act according to your own genuine nature, not the nature that was imposed on you by parents, schools, or algorithms. It is the courage to accept the isolation that comes with being unique, and to bridge that gap not by submitting to a herd, but by connecting with others through love and creative work. The alternative is a world of well-fed, well-clothed, well-entertained robots who have lost the capacity to feel anything real. We are standing at a crossroads. We can either retreat into the comfort of the cage, or we can accept the terrifying responsibility of the open sky. Freedom is not a gift that is given. It is a discipline that must be practiced, and right now, most of us are failing the test. If you enjoyed the content, please subscribe to our channel. We are just starting and we need your support to thrive. Keep in mind, question everything. See you on the next episode. Thanks for watching.